Okay, hello! So today is July 1st and June just flew by. Can't even believe it's already July. But yeah, so that means I am doing my June wrap-up and July TBR. With my reading goal, I aim to read around 5 books every month, and in June I read 6, so it's not too bad. So I'm just gonna get started, and then we'll talk about July. First book I read in June was a reread, and it's Gone by Michael Grant, and I read this book 5 years ago, I think, so I did not remember anything. I remembered like one scene, if you can call it that, from it, and that was it. And yeah, and it was good. It was good. It was intense. This time going into it, this one, as I've continued the series, it's been different, but this book, I was very aware of how old they were, and I'm very aware of their actions regarding how old they are and whether or not people of their age would do that in those situations or not. And that was my biggest thing, was like I felt certain things they did wouldn't actually happen, or kids that age wouldn't actually do those things. So that was my biggest complaint, so I gave this 4 stars. 4 stars. Give it 4 stars. After that, I read The Silver Chair, which is the 5th book, yes, in the Chronicles of Narnia. And this book was really boring. Like, it was very anticlimactic, and they just kind of like walked around a bunch, and it had Eustace, who was in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and then his friend Jill, and it was mainly them, and they had to go help find Caspian's son, and it was really predictable, and it was just kind of boring. Yeah, so I gave it 3 stars. Next book I read was Hunger in the Gone series. This book continued everything, and this book was a lot more realistic in my opinion, because it actually addressed issues like hunger in that situation, which, if you don't know what the series is about, it's about kids all who are 14 and under get trapped under this dome thing. It's basically Under the Dome but with kids. And some of them have superpowers type of thing. But this one actually addressed more issues. But I did not like this one as much because a lot of the characters became really, not stupid, just made really stupid decisions and were very annoying. And I didn't really dislike anyone in the first book, but this one I really was like, you're all making me mad. Like, you're all just doing stupid things, you need to stop. So I gave this one 3 stars. Then I finished up the Chronicles of Narnia series with The Last Battle. Also, Silver Chair is actually the 6th. This is the 7th. This book was really weird, and I kind of hated it a lot. I gave it 2 stars because I understand that this series has a lot of Christian influence, and C.S. Lewis is really into that thing, but it had like, I mean, it's the last battle. It's the last you see of Narnia, and it was very dark and very creepy and very scary and very weird, and they just kind of dismissed some of the bigger characters, and I thought it was really stupid how they did it, and it was just, I did not like it. And I really wasn't, like, it was Eustace and Jane in this one as well, and they were with King Tyrion. That's what I think his name is pronounced. That's what it looks like. And he is not nice. Like, he just seems like a jerk to me, and he was not someone I would want to know or want to be my king. So that was another issue, was that I didn't really like Tyrion either. I liked Jewel the Unicorn, and that was it. Really bittersweet that Chronicles of Narnia is done, but it was kind of weighing on my mind, but it's finally done. It's finally over with. So I can move on to bigger and better things. Next book I read was Lies, which is continuing the Gone series. I think this is the shortest book in the Gone series. This one I liked more than Hunger, but it was very predictable, was part of the problem.
I'll just read it, and then everyone can hear my sexy voice.
Okay, Kyler's gonna read my review of it. Read it loud.
The full review?
My review of it, yes.
Yeah,
it should be kind of long.
Like most of the books in the series, I have struggled to get drawn in by the story during the first half. The second half was good, and I read it fast because I really wanted to know what was going to happen. I like the addition of new characters in this book, and the addition of the island. A lot of the things that happened in the end were predictable, though I and I dislike it when I can guess what is going to happen and I'm right. I could see the setup for the next book, though, especially knowing the title of the next book. I am curious to see how they'll play out and be dealt with. The one moment in the book was that crazy and... the one moment in this book that was crazy and is really the only thing that is making me want to continue the series is a little Pete incident that happened at the end. The characters in the series are finally starting to lose their minds, which makes this story more interesting and realistic. But it also makes me uncomfortable at times. I like it, though, because it adds realism and shows the desperate times call for desperate measures.
So that's I wrote that right after I read it, so that's pretty good. So we'll just keep going. And the last book I read in June was Second Star, which this is a retelling of Peter Pan, and I was really interested in it because I really love Peter Pan's story and all of that. And this was really short, and it's like kind of contemporary, and then I found out there's a love triangle in it, and right before I read it, actually I read it like on the back of this or something, and I was really upset because I did not want to read a Peter Pan love triangle. I'm like, that sounds super stupid. So as I read it, I got pretty into it pretty quickly. It's about Wendy, who her brothers John and Michael are twins in this retelling, and they are surfers, and then they went missing like 9 or 10 months before the story begins, I think. Or no, it's not even that. It's like January, and this book takes place in like May or June, so like 5 or 6 months. So her brothers go missing and everything, and then it's her parents and the police and everything have given up hope. They think they died in a surfing accident, but Wendy does not give up hope, and she keeps going and looking for them, and she stumbles upon someone named Pete at a beach who's a surfer. And he knows all of these secret surfing spots where her brothers would have gone. So she hangs out with him and meets his friends, which include Belle, which I was very happy that Belle was accurately portrayed in this book with the movie, like Disney movie, because everyone thinks Tinkerbell's so great, and she's not. She's kind of evil, and she was evil in this. So it is spoiler alert, I guess. You figure it out like right when you meet her, but whatever. And this is just weird, and it was good though. The ending was very different than what I was expecting. I don't want to say too much, but it mainly made me confused more than anything. I mean, I was happy that it wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but I was really confused at the end. I'm still kind of confused about what really, I don't know, what's going on with Wendy. It's hard to talk about it without giving anything away. But yeah, I give this book 3 stars because Wendy made really stupid decisions. Yeah. So this book was 3 stars. So now on to my July TBR. Yes. So first book I'm reading is Plague, which is the next book in the Gone series. So many books in the series. And I'm about halfway through. It's going pretty well so far, so I'm curious what's going to happen in the rest of this book. What I really like about these books, forgot to tell you, is that it has like a countdown throughout the books. Like this is 72 hours, and they have one, and that leads up to the climax of the book, basically at the end. And I really like that because I have the book backwards, because it kind of gives me an idea of like how close they're getting and how this is going to play out with whatever the climax is, because usually you don't know what it's going to be. You did in Gone, but that was it. So yeah, and this book is about the kids going through a plague, obviously. After those, I will finish up the Gone series with Fear and then Light. I am going to be so happy to be done with this series just because their books are huge, and I really want to know what's going to happen, but at the same time I get very bored with these books, so it's a love-hate relationship. After that, I don't really know what order I'll read these in, but I'll be reading Alice in Wonderland.
Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
And Through the Looking Glass, which Kyler has been trying to get me to read for like ever.
You can knock those out in like a day. I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it, so I guess I'm reading that. And then I'm also reading another book, which Kyler
you said you wanted to read it.
Politely suggested. Yes, I did want to read it, but I wanted to read the other book first. Which is The End Games by T. Michael Martin, which I love that name. T. Michael Martin. It's so good. And this book The picture kind of reminds me of The Road with the guy in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it? I hate The Road, by the way, if anyone's wondering. I don't really know what this is. I think there's like zombies in it, and it's post-apocalyptic, which right up my alley. I love post-apocalyptic, and I recently discovered that I really like zombie books as well, so this book should be good for me. And then the other book, I have quite a pile. It's like 6 books for July. That's okay. Is S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst, and I got this book for Christmas, and I've been meaning to read it for so long, but I'm finally going to. I didn't want to read it while I was at school because this book just has so much stuff in it that I don't want to lose any of it. But if you don't know, this is like a book inside a book. Like there's the Ship of Theseus, and then this book is full of like notes and note cards and pictures and stuff like that. Like other people picked up this book and wrote it in it. And that's what it is that like these 2 people wrote notes in this book to each other, and it's them talking to each other through the story too. And it's just so much cool stuff. Like this is a napkin with a map written on it. Like what? This book is just so cool. So cool. I don't even know if the story's gonna be good, but this will be the coolest book I've ever read, just because it's just, I'm so excited. This is awesome. So that's pretty much it. I'm also forever continuing of Clash of Kings. Now that I finished the Chronicles of Narnia, I'm actually kind of trying to make more progress in this, so I've been reading it every night. Probably won't finish it in July. Might finish it in August. If I finish it before I go back to school, that'll be an accomplishment for me. But that's it, just making my way slowly through it. That is it. Let me know what books you're reading in July and what books you read in June. Also, let me know your thoughts on any of these books. And I will see you all next time. Bye.